Google reportedly switching to TSMC 3nm N3E process for its Tensor G5, Tensor G6 to be mass-produced on the more advanced N3P technology. The Tensor G4 is the last chipset from Google that was fabricated by Samsung, as the Mountain View firm has been previously reported to shift to TSMC's second-generation 3nm process for the Tensor G5. With the Tensor G6, which will likely launch 2 years from now, one report claims that Google has no intentions to leverage the 2nm technology because it will switch to the significantly improved N3P variant instead. Despite transitioning to TSMC's 3nm family of technologies, Google will still be a year behind the competition when it announces the Tensor G5 and Tensor G6. A report from Android authorities Kamila Wojcicka talks about Google bidding farewell to its longtime foundry partner Samsung in favor of more prosperous beginnings by teaming up with TSMC. The publication spotted some credible documents that confirm which manufacturing process Google will use for the Tensor G5 and Tensor G6. For the entire Pixel 10 family that is slated to launch in 2025, the advertising behemoth is said to take advantage of the same node used by Apple's A18, A18 Pro, and M4. This year also marks the first time that Qualcomm and MediaTek have bridged the technological gap with Apple by switching to the same 3nm N3E process for the Snapdragon 8 Elite and Dimensity 9400. In terms of performance per watt, the Tensor G5 should exceed in all areas when compared to its direct predecessor, the Tensor G4, even if it means that the chipset will be a whole year behind the rest of the pack. The Tensor G5 was previously reported to have entered the tape-out stage earlier this year and is said to adopt TSMC's InfoPop packaging, making the chipset's packaging smaller while also more power efficient. As for the Tensor G6, Google was rumored to move to TSMC's 2nm process, but given that Kamila has an excellent track record, we have little choice but to believe that the Pixel 11 SoC will be mass-produced on TSMC's 3nm N3P node. It makes complete sense why the company would not immediately jump to the 2nm process, as even Apple is set to wait for the iPhone 18 launch 2 years from now to unveil its first A-series silicon that will transcend the 3nm barrier. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo predicted that not all iPhone 18 models will be treated to a 2nm SoC because wafer costs will be exceptionally high. Even if Google's Tensor range is a whole generation behind the competition, as Qualcomm, MediaTek, and Apple are expected to shift to TSMC's N3P technology, the company is in no mood to keep pace with its rivals. After all, a Google executive previously stated that the Tensor G4 was not designed to beat specific benchmarks but to improve the user experience. Based on this outlook, the Tensor G5 and Tensor G6 will likely be slower, but it should matter little if the Pixel 10 and Pixel 11 perform identically to their competitors.